Dear friend, I have a question for you. Tell me, have you ever wondered why some people are constantly struggling to survive while others seem to be playing a different game? They see opportunity where others see the end. They don't chase money. Money comes to them. But it's not about luck. And it's not about connections. It's about mindset. Because a millionaire doesn't start with a bank account, but with a mind that sees the world differently. A poor person thinks about today. A rich person thinks about a system that works even without them. In this audiobook, The Mind of a Millionaire, you will learn how real millionaires think, what they see when others give up, and what inner rules lead them to freedom. Because if you want to live like a millionaire, first learn to think like a millionaire. The middle class trade time for money, but the rich, they create money. And they do it using a completely different operating system, one hidden in plain sight. Before we continue, I want to say, my dear friend, if you are watching this video, then you are definitely on the right track. Like, subscribe, and write in the comments which topic or problem interests you the most. Chapter 1. Born into Possibility. Most people believe they were born broke, that they came into a world already divided between the rich and everyone else. But here's the truth. No one is born poor. You are born rich, in potential, in creativity, in energy. You were born rich. You were just programmed to forget it. Every child starts with an unlimited mind until someone teaches them limitation. As we grow, society replaces imagination with imitation. We stop asking why not and start believing that's just how it is. But millionaires never stopped asking. They refused to let conditioning define their ceiling. You see, your mind is a financial magnet. Whatever you believe about yourself and the world determines what you attract and what you repel. Remember, poor thinking says, I'll never afford that. Millionaire thinking asks, how can I afford that? That one question opens a different reality. Because the moment you shift from impossible to possible, your brain begins to work for you, not against you. Chapter 2. The Millionaire Blueprint. Wealth isn't random. It's repeatable. Every millionaire, from the quiet investor to the loud visionary, follows the same internal blueprint. Not a step-by-step business model, but a set of psychological laws. 1. They think in abundance, not in lack. 2. They act from faith, not fear. 3. They focus on value, not validation. 4. They understand time as leverage, not limitation, and the foundation beneath it all. They believe they are worthy of wealth. Until you believe you deserve more, you'll keep accepting less. Poor minds ask, what can I get? Rich minds ask, what can I build? You are always building something, a business, a reputation, or a limitation. And every choice compounds into a mindset. The real secret is that millionaires don't find opportunities. They create them through disciplined thinking and emotional control. Wealth isn't made by those who can do the most. It's made by those who can stay focused the longest. Chapter 3. Reprogramming Your Money Mind. Let's get brutally honest. Most people aren't broke because of circumstance. They're broke because of conditioning. You were programmed to believe in scarcity long before you ever earned your first dollar. You were told money is hard to make, that rich people are greedy, that wealth corrupts, and your subconscious absorbed every word. That programming became your paradigm, the invisible script running 95% of your life. So you work harder, you chase more hours, You grind without direction, wondering why nothing changes. It's because the problem isn't effort, it's the software. If your subconscious believes money is scarce, you'll subconsciously push it away, even when opportunities are right in front of you. Millionaires don't just work harder, they rewire their inner script. They replace scarcity thoughts with abundance patterns until wealth becomes natural. And it starts with awareness. You can't escape a mental prison you won't admit you're in. Chapter 4. The Power of Perception. The average person sees $1 million as a mountain. The millionaire sees it as a milestone. That's perception. Nothing is big or small. Everything just is. You decide the size. Your brain doesn't understand scale. It understands familiarity. So if you keep saying $1 million is a lot, your subconscious will agree and treat it like a distant fantasy. But if you normalize wealth in your mind, if you visualize, calculate, and mentally play with the numbers every day, you'll reprogram your nervous system to see money as normal. The goal isn't arrogance, it's alignment. Millionaires talk about money like builders talk about materials, not from greed, but from creation. Because money, in its purest form, is just energy exchange. When you stop worshiping it or fearing it, you finally learn how to use it. That's the shift. From emotional attachment to strategic control. Chapter 5. Choosing your financial frequency. Money moves on frequency. It flows to clarity, confidence, and creativity, not chaos and fear. Have you ever noticed how some people attract opportunities effortlessly? It's not luck, it's resonance. Their inner state matches the vibration of wealth, focus, optimism, gratitude. Poor minds operate on the frequency of lack. I don't have enough. I can't afford this. I never get lucky. Rich minds transmit differently. I'm learning every day. Money comes to me through multiple sources. I deserve to grow. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Every thought, emotion, and word you repeat becomes a signal. And that signal either invites or repels abundance. So if you want to think like a millionaire, you must speak, feel, and act like one, even before the evidence appears. Faith isn't blind belief. It's mental alignment with your future before your senses catch up. Chapter 6. The Value Equation. Here's the simplest truth about money that most people miss. You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by the value you bring to the hour. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards impact. You can work 10 times harder, or you can become 10 times more valuable. Millionaires stop selling time and start selling transformation. They build skills that multiply results for others, and money follows naturally. That's why the rich are obsessed with leverage of time, technology, talent, and trust. Remember, they ask, how can I earn while I sleep? The poor ask, how can I earn more if I work more? Different questions, different destinies. The key is to keep increasing your value, because money is simply a reflection of the service you render multiplied by the number of people you serve. That's the equation of wealth. You're starting to see how millionaires really think, not as collectors of cash, but as architects of value. But there's a deeper layer still, the emotional discipline, the inner stillness, and the detachment from fear that allows them to stay calm while the world panics. In the next part, we'll go inside that mindset to uncover how millionaires use emotion, risk, and purpose to build unshakable wealth. Chapter 7. Emotional Control, the Secret Currency. If there's one trait every millionaire masters early, it's this. Emotional control. Because the truth is, money doesn't disappear. It simply transfers from the emotional to the strategic. When panic hits, the emotional sell. When chaos strikes, the emotional freeze. But the strategic, they thrive. Millionaires don't react to the world. They respond with precision. Most people lose money because they let feelings drive decisions. Fear makes them retreat. Greed makes them chase. Ego makes them hold on too long. A millionaire knows emotions are signals, not instructions. They listen, but they don't obey. You can't make smart financial moves in an unstable emotional state. That's like steering a ship during a storm by watching the waves instead of the compass. Control your emotional weather, and you control your financial climate. Chapter 8. How Millionaires Use Fear. Everyone feels fear. The difference is how you interpret it. The poor see fear as a stop sign. The rich see fear as a spotlight. Fear shows you exactly where your next level lives. Fear only appears when something valuable is at stake. Growth, progress, transformation. Millionaires have learned to turn fear into focus. When they feel uncertainty, they don't run. They analyze. They study risk until they can move through it with strategy instead of emotion. They know courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. Fear means you're close to expansion. It means your comfort zone is shrinking and your potential is knocking. So next time fear whispers, "You can't," translate it correctly. You're about to. Chapter 9. Detaching from approval. Let's get honest. Most people never get rich because they can't handle judgment. They fear looking foolish. They fear being wrong. They fear standing out. But millionaires, they stopped needing permission a long time ago. You cannot build wealth and please everyone at the same time. You either protect people's opinions or your potential, not both. The moment you start building something big, small minds will talk. They'll say you changed. They'll say you're greedy. They'll say you're lucky. Ignore it. Because while they're debating your motives, you're designing your future. Every millionaire you admire once looked delusional to someone. Winners learn that isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're not here to be understood, you're here to become undeniable. Chapter 10. The long game of the rich-poor minds chase fast results. Rich minds play for decades. Patience is the currency of the wealthy. Most people underestimate the power of consistency because they crave speed. They want the reward without the repetition. Millionaires, on the other hand, are obsessed with the long game. They'll wait 5 years for a breakthrough if it means owning the next 50. They know compound growth doesn't look impressive in the beginning. It looks invisible. That's why the impatient give up right before momentum kicks in. Every seed looks like nothing until it breaks through the soil. And by then, it's too late to plant. So if you want to build wealth, learn to stay steady when nothing seems to be working. Because success doesn't happen overnight. It happens after 1,000 nights of persistence that no one sees. Chapter 11. The Power of Clarity. Most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. They confuse motion with progress and effort with direction. You can't hit a target you never defined. Millionaires live by clarity. They write goals, define visions, and track progress like a science. Every decision they make, from investments to partnerships, is filtered through one question. Does this move me closer to my vision or distract me from it? The poor ask, "What's the price?" The rich ask, "What's the value?" That's the clarity gap. And here's the truth. Clarity creates confidence. When you know what you want, distractions lose power. You stop being busy and start being effective. Every millionaire operates from that stillness, a kind of quiet certainty that guides every move. Because when your mind is clear, your path becomes obvious. Chapter 12, How Millionaires Think About Failure. Most people see failure as an ending. Millionaires see it as data. Failure is feedback, not final. They don't take it personally. They take it professionally. Every mistake is a mirror reflecting what needs to evolve. The poor avoid failure to protect their ego. The rich seek it to expand their understanding. Because every failed business, every bad investment, every rejection is a tuition payment to the school of mastery. You don't lose when you fail. You lose when you stop learning from it. Every millionaire carries scars that never made the headlines. They just kept going when others quit. Because they know this, your resilience is your real net worth. The more setbacks you can survive without losing vision, the richer you're destined to become. Chapter 13, Money and Mental Energy. Here's a truth few will tell you. Wealth requires energy management. You only have so much mental bandwidth each day, and most people waste it worrying about what they can't control. Millionaires conserve energy like investors conserve capital. They delegate, automate, and eliminate relentlessly. They don't argue with ignorance. They don't chase every opportunity. They don't let emotions drain their focus. Remember, protect your attention the way a millionaire protects their capital. Ruthlessly. Every distraction has a cost. Every mental leak drains momentum. The richer you become mentally, the more selective you become with what gets your energy. Because what you focus on expands. And what you ignore eventually dies. Chapter 14, The Art of Thinking in Systems. The middle class thinks in goals. The millionaire thinks in systems. A goal is an outcome. A system is the process that guarantees outcomes repeat. If your wealth depends on willpower, you're already losing. Millionaires design routines that make success automatic. They build businesses that grow without them. They set habits that make discipline effortless. It's not motivation that makes them rich. It's architecture. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your systems. So instead of asking, "How do I stay consistent?" ask, "What system would make consistency inevitable?" That's how the rich think. Not emotionally, but structurally. Chapter 15, The Power of Association. You cannot outgrow your environment. Show me your circle, and I'll show you your ceiling. Millionaires build tribes of thinkers, not talkers. They surround themselves with people who challenge their limits, not comfort their excuses. Because environment isn't passive. It's contagious. Spend enough time around mediocrity, and excellence will start to feel extreme. But spend time around excellence, and mediocrity will start to feel unbearable. That's why the rich guard their circles with precision. They'd rather be misunderstood by many than average with most. If you ever feel like the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Growth requires friction. Progress requires pressure. And wealth requires environment. The mind of a millionaire is not built in isolation. It's forged in proximity to power, purpose, and progress. But there's a deeper evolution ahead. Because beyond wealth lies identity, and identity, not income, determines your destiny. That's what you'll discover in the next part. How millionaires transform their self-image to match their wealth, and how you can do the same from the inside out. Friend, write your opinion on this topic in the comments. Do you agree with us or not? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Chapter 16. Your identity is your income. You can never earn beyond the image you hold of yourself. You can read every book, take every course, and work endless hours. But if your identity says, "I'm average," your reality will prove you right. You don't get paid for what you do. You get paid for who you are while doing it. Millionaires know this. That's why they invest more in self-image than in status. They understand wealth is first built in the mind, then expressed in the bank account. The poor say, "I'll believe it when I see it." The rich say, "I'll see it when I believe it." The mind moves first. The money follows. So if you want to become a millionaire, stop asking, "What should I do?" Start asking, "Who must I become?" Because once your self-image upgrades, your habits and opportunities will rise to match it. Chapter 17. The Internal Economy. There are two economies in life: the external, of markets, inflation, and money, and the internal, of beliefs, thoughts, and emotions. Most people spend their lives mastering the first, but ignoring the second. They study finance, but never study themselves. Your internal economy determines how you experience the external one. That's why two people can live in the same economy, one thriving, one surviving. Same world, different inner world. Millionaires operate from calm during chaos because their internal economy is stable. They don't depend on circumstances to feel secure. They've built emotional wealth first: peace, clarity, purpose. And from that foundation, financial wealth becomes easy. Because the truth is, money doesn't make you rich. It magnifies what you already are. If you're undisciplined, money will multiply your chaos. If you're focused, it will multiply your impact. Chapter 18. The Power of Decision. Most people never become wealthy because they never decide to. They wish, they hope, they dream, but they never commit. Millionaires understand that wealth begins with a decision, not a casual one, a permanent one. When you make a real decision, the universe rearranges itself to support it. A decision is not made when you say it. It's made when you cut off every other possibility. That's what the word means, decidere, to cut away. When you decide you will be wealthy, you stop entertaining the idea of failure. You stop negotiating with limitation. You begin to move differently, speak differently, think differently. You stop waiting for signs and start creating them. That's the moment your journey truly begins. Not when you have resources, but when you decide to become resourceful. Chapter 19. Money and Mind Space. Every millionaire understands this. Your mind is prime real estate, and your thoughts are tenants. If your mind is full of noise, there's no room for new wealth to move in. Most people live in mental clutter: worry, gossip, comparison, regret. They're thinking about everything, but thinking toward nothing. Millionaires curate their mental space. They guard what enters it. They schedule silence as seriously as meetings. Because creativity needs room to breathe, and clarity requires emptiness. So if you want to think like a millionaire, you must first declutter your thoughts. Unsubscribe from mental junk. Unfollow negativity. and start making space for vision. The quieter your mind, the louder your potential becomes. Chapter 20. The Rich Understand. Energy. Money isn't just paper or pixels. It's energy, and energy flows through exchange. Every dollar is a certificate of appreciation for the value you provided. The poor think money is taken. The rich know money is attracted. When you serve more, money naturally circulates back. When you hoard or fear it, you block the flow. That's why gratitude and generosity are essential to wealth. Not because they're moral, but because they keep energy moving. Millionaires give because they understand circulation. They invest in causes, ideas, and people, not just for return, but for resonance. They know that money expands in the hands of purpose and shrinks in the hands of fear. If you want more wealth, become a greater conductor for it by creating, serving, and circulating with intention. Chapter 21. The Rich Value Time Over Money. Here's a paradox. Poor people trade time for money. The rich trade money for time. They understand time is the only currency that can't be replaced. You can lose money and earn it back. Lose time, and it's gone forever. So millionaires design their lives around freedom, not hustle. They automate tasks. They delegate early. They invest in leverage. They don't ask, "Can I afford it?" They ask, "Can I afford to spend my time doing this myself?" It's not arrogance. It's awareness. The poor say, "I'll do it myself to save money." The rich say, "I'll pay someone so I can earn more by thinking." And that's the difference. You can't become wealthy working endlessly in the system. You become wealthy by building a system that works for you. Chapter 22. How Millionaires Manage Failure and Success. Failure tests your patience. Success tests your character. Both can destroy you if your ego isn't disciplined. The poor let failure break them. The rich let it build them. The poor let success make them comfortable. The rich let it make them accountable. Millionaires understand success isn't ownership. It's stewardship. They don't let comfort turn into complacency. They know that every new level requires a new level of humility, because arrogance blinds, but curiosity multiplies. They keep learning even after winning. They stay students, not spectators. When they fail, they extract wisdom. When they succeed, they reinvest it. That's why they rise faster after setbacks. They've learned how to harvest pain into perspective. Chapter 23. The Millionaire's Relationship with Risk. Most people avoid risk because they confuse it with danger, but they're not the same. Danger means probable loss. Risk means possible growth. If you want to double your income, double your tolerance for uncertainty. Millionaires calculate risk like scientists. They research, test, observe, but they act. They understand that no risk is more dangerous than staying the same, because the economy evolves daily and comfort zones depreciate fast. The poor seek guarantees. The rich seek information. They don't need certainty. They need clarity. Because once you're clear on the vision, you can adapt to any variable. That's how they thrive during recessions, disruptions, or chaos. They stay in motion while the world waits for permission. Chapter 24. Money and Mindset. Detox. If you grew up hearing things like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "Rich people are greedy," or "We can't afford it," those phrases didn't just describe your world, they designed it. Every repeated phrase becomes programming. Your language is your financial thermostat. Millionaires rewire their language. They stop saying, "I can't." They say, "I'm learning how." They stop saying, "It's too expensive." They say, "It's not a priority right now." They know words create worlds. So start noticing your financial vocabulary. Replace complaint with curiosity. Replace fear with faith. Because every time you speak, you're either reinforcing your current reality or designing a new one. The millionaire mind isn't a fantasy, it's a framework, a way of perceiving, deciding, and creating from abundance instead of anxiety. But there's one final layer that separates the wealthy from the wise: their emotional discipline around wealth. In the next part, you'll discover how millionaires sustain wealth through detachment, service, and mental mastery, and how you can build a life that's not only rich in money, but in meaning. Chapter 25, Wealth Without Attachment. Here's a paradox most never understand. To keep money, you must stop being attached to it, because the moment you need money to feel safe, it owns you. You cannot be free while you're emotionally enslaved to the thing you desire. Millionaires don't cling to wealth. They manage it. They treat money as a tool, not an identity. The poor seek money for validation. The rich use money for elevation. When you attach your worth to your wealth, you'll lose peace every time the market shifts. But when you detach, you gain the one thing wealth can't buy: control over yourself. This is why true millionaires don't panic when they lose. They rebuild faster than most people can recover emotionally, because they never confuse net worth with self-worth. Chapter 26, Money and Purpose. Most people chase money to escape pain. Millionaires pursue money to expand purpose. Money doesn't create meaning. Meaning creates money. Think about it. When you act from survival, your creativity shrinks. But when you act from service, your vision expands. That's why the wealthiest individuals often talk about impact more than income. They've learned that the surest way to multiply wealth is to multiply value. Money follows purpose like a shadow follows light. The poor say, "Once I have money, I'll help people." The rich say, "Once I help people, I'll have money." The sequence matters. If your only goal is money, you'll chase endlessly. But if your goal is purpose, money becomes a natural consequence. Chapter 27, The Psychology of Service. The richest minds see business as service, not exploitation. You don't make money from people, you make money through people by serving them better than anyone else. They obsess over solving problems. They listen deeply. They innovate to remove friction from people's lives. That's why money flows to them. They've earned trust, not attention. In a world obsessed with looking rich, millionaires focus on being useful, because usefulness never goes out of style. If you can solve a problem better, faster, or deeper than anyone else, the world will pay you endlessly for it. That's the ultimate secret. Wealth equals impact multiplied by reach. Chapter 28, Thinking in Multiples. The middle class thinks in income. The millionaire thinks in assets. They ask different questions. The average person asks, "How can I earn more?" The millionaire asks, "How can I multiply what I earn?" The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. They build streams, not puddles. They think in systems, not shifts. They invest in scalability, businesses, brands, content, capital, because they know the real goal isn't to make $1 million once. It's to make $1 million again and again without extra effort. That's leverage. So, Stop thinking about what you can do for money. Start thinking about what you can create that earns while you rest. That shift in thinking alone can compress decades into years. Chapter 29, The Millionaire's Silence. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, millionaires practice silence. They don't announce every goal. They don't share every move. They understand that energy leaks through exposure. Real power is quiet. Real focus is invisible. They let their results make the noise. Because the louder your life becomes, the harder it is to hear your intuition. And intuition is the compass of wealth. When everyone else is reacting, the millionaire retreats, not to hide, but to listen. Silence gives them foresight. Stillness gives them strategy. The secret isn't just thinking differently, it's creating the space to think at all. Chapter 30, How Millionaires Master Self-Talk. What you whisper to yourself daily determines what you experience publicly. The poor say, "This is too hard." The rich say, "This is training." The poor say, "I don't know how." The rich say, "I'll learn until I do." You'll never outperform your self-conversation. Millionaires audit their inner dialogue constantly. They catch every negative statement before it grows roots. They speak to themselves like leaders, not victims, like creators, not complainers. And they do it even when the evidence doesn't match the affirmation, because they know mindset precedes manifestation. So, if you want to think like a millionaire, speak like the version of you that already is one. You're not lying to yourself. You're leading yourself. Chapter 31, The Art of Discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. It's what turns "I want" into "I have." Motivation starts the race. Discipline finishes it. Millionaires aren't always motivated. They're trained. They've conditioned themselves to act regardless of emotion. When they don't feel like working, they still execute. When they feel fear, they still move forward. That's the difference. They've mastered the micro moments, those small invisible decisions that seem insignificant but compound into massive outcomes. Discipline is freedom disguised as repetition. And the more you train it, the more unstoppable you become. Chapter 32, The Cost of Comfort. Comfort is the most expensive addiction in the world. It costs you dreams, growth, and greatness, all in exchange for temporary ease. Remember, the poor trade long-term freedom for short-term relief. Millionaires do the opposite. They embrace discomfort because they know pain is progress in disguise. Every difficult conversation, every failure, every early morning, every lonely night, it's all training. Comfort zones shrink your ambition. Discomfort expands your capacity. So don't fear struggle, study it. Because behind every obstacle is a new level of power waiting to be unlocked. Chapter 33, How Millionaires Think About Control. Most people waste years trying to control what they can't. Millionaires focus on what they can. They don't argue with circumstances. They influence them through preparation and perspective. You can't control the storm, but you can build a stronger ship. They control effort, mindset, and response. They control habits, associations, and environments. Everything else, the markets, politics, opinions, they observe, but never obsess over. That's why they remain calm under pressure, because control isn't about power. It's about focus. When you master yourself, the world loses its grip on you. Chapter 34, The Millionaire's Morning. It's not just what millionaires do during the day. It's how they start it. While the world sleeps in chaos, They build structure in silence. Their mornings are intentional gratitude, reflection, planning, stillness. How you start your morning sets the tone for how you spend your fortune. They don't begin with notifications. They begin with vision. They don't check who messaged them. They check who they're becoming. This habit alone creates clarity. It aligns the mind before money enters the equation. If you control your mornings, you'll eventually control your destiny. Millionaires think differently because they've trained their minds to serve their mission, not their emotions. But there's one more transformation, the point where mindset meets mastery. In the next part, we'll explore how the rich create momentum, maintain peace in chaos, and multiply purpose far beyond wealth. Chapter 35. Momentum. The silent multiplier momentum is invisible until it's unstoppable. Every millionaire understands this. They don't wait for motivation. They build momentum. Success is not about intensity. It's about consistency. While others work in bursts, the wealthy move with rhythm. They know that even small, steady actions compound into massive shifts over time. Momentum doesn't care how you feel today. It rewards what you did yesterday. The first week, you see no results. The second week, still nothing. Then, suddenly, everything clicks. Not because of luck, but because the compound effect finally broke the surface. Millionaires respect momentum like oxygen. They guard it fiercely because they know once it's lost, rebuilding takes 10 times the effort. So they protect routines. They remove distractions. They keep the flywheel turning. The secret is simple. Don't stop when it's working. Build while it's hot. Chapter 36. Why the rich think in systems, not tasks. Poor minds chase completion. Rich minds chase automation. If it needs you to survive, it's not a business. It's a job disguised as ambition. Millionaires design systems. They build frameworks that produce consistent results, even in their absence. Whether it's in business, fitness, or finances, they ask one powerful question: how can I make this run without me? That's how they scale, not by working harder, but by thinking smarter. The average person says, I'll do it myself. The millionaire says, I'll build a system that does it better. Systems are the invisible machines behind visible empires. They turn chaos into order and effort into legacy. So stop chasing the next task. Build a system that makes success repeatable. If you appreciate our efforts and our thoughts, subscribe and like this video. We need to show the world that there are many people like us. We must always continue to improve. Chapter 37. Peace is the new power. Millionaires don't chase peace after success. They build peace into success, because wealth without inner calm is just noise. The richest people are not those with the most money, but those with the most peace of mind. The poor believe peace comes when problems disappear. The rich understand peace comes when you master response. You can't control life, but you can control interpretation. You can choose to react with panic or to respond with power. When the market crashes, millionaires breathe. When opportunities collapse, they pivot. They've trained themselves to replace emotional chaos with calculated clarity. Peace is a competitive advantage. It lets you think when others freeze. It keeps your creativity alive when stress kills it in others. The richest minds in the world aren't frantic, they're focused, because calm is the soil from which great ideas grow. Chapter 38, The Art of Adaptation. The world changes fast. Technology evolves. Markets shift. People move. But the millionaire mindset, it adapts faster. Adaptability is the superpower of the successful. The poor cling to old systems, old beliefs, old identities. The rich evolve in real time. They know that comfort with change creates wealth because every new era brings new opportunities for those who move first. When something fails, they don't take it personally. They treat it like data. They ask, "What's this trying to teach me?" And then they reinvent themselves accordingly. That's why they stay ahead, because they aren't attached to who they were yesterday. Adaptation isn't about giving up your core values. It's about updating your strategies to fit the moment. If you can evolve faster than your environment, you'll never fall behind. Chapter 39, How Millionaires Recharge. Most people burn out trying to hustle 24/7. Millionaires don't. They understand that rest is not laziness. It's leverage. The mind that never rests, rusts. They rest strategically, not accidentally. They unplug to sharpen focus, not to escape responsibility. When they rest, they recover energy with intention. Meditation, travel, time with mentors, reading, silence, these are all tools of wealth. They know that clarity requires space, and burnout destroys creativity. So while the world glorifies exhaustion, millionaires glorify efficiency. They work deeply, then detach completely. Because in business and in life, balance isn't about working less. It's about recovering better. Chapter 40, Why Winners Embrace Boredom. Most people quit when progress feels slow. Millionaires thrive in the boring phases. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when you do it long enough without quitting. That's the secret most never see. Wealth isn't built in excitement. It's built in repetition. Writing, selling, training, investing, day after day, month after month, year after year. The poor chase stimulation, the rich chase results. Because they've realized something powerful. Boredom is not a sign of failure. It's the entry point to mastery. If you can love the process when it's dull, you'll own the results when they're dazzling. The disciplined always defeat the dramatic. Chapter 41, Proximity to Power. The company you keep is not neutral. It's a mirror, a magnet, and a map. Your circle either expands your vision or contracts it. Millionaires curate their environment ruthlessly. They understand that association is acceleration. They seek rooms where they're challenged, not celebrated. They sit at tables where conversations cost you your comfort but upgrade your mind. They invest in mentors, not opinions. Because every level of wealth requires new wisdom and new voices. Here's the truth. If you want to be a millionaire, you must stop taking advice from people living the life you're trying to escape. Your environment is an investment. Treat it like one. Chapter 42, The Rich See Value, Not Cost. When the poor see price tags, the rich see possibilities. The poor ask, "How much does it cost?" The rich ask, "What is it worth?" Millionaires understand that cost and value are rarely the same. They know that cheap decisions often create expensive consequences. They'll spend $5,000 on a skill that makes them $50,000, while others save $50 and stay stuck. Because the rich don't think about what something takes. They think about what it gives. That's why they keep expanding while others keep conserving. They've realized that the greatest ROI comes not from things, but from transformation. So stop asking, if you can afford to invest in yourself. Start asking if you can afford not to. Chapter 43, The Law of Elevation. Every time you grow, something or someone won't come with you, and that's okay. Elevation requires separation. Millionaires understand that the price of evolution is letting go of what no longer aligns. Old habits, old circles, old identities. It's not betrayal. It's biology. You're not rejecting your past. You're respecting your potential. Growth demands you release what's heavy so you can rise. That's why you can't carry everyone with you on the way up. Some will misunderstand you. Some will resist you. But the ones meant for you will grow alongside you. Letting go isn't loss. It's liberation. We'll uncover the final transformation of the millionaire mind. How to evolve from financial success to true legacy, where wealth serves purpose, freedom meets fulfillment, and your story becomes a message. Because the end goal isn't just to get rich, it's to grow so much that money becomes the least interesting thing about you. Chapter 44, From Survival to Significance. There comes a point when money no longer motivates you, when another zero in your account doesn't change how you feel inside, when you realize this isn't about survival anymore. You were never meant to just survive. You were meant to build something that outlives you. Millionaires who reach this stage start asking deeper questions. What impact am I leaving? What legacy will remain when I'm gone? They understand that true wealth isn't about accumulation, it's about contribution. The poor chase comfort. The rich chase continuity. They want to build something that lasts. A brand, a movement, a message. Something that improves lives long after their name is forgotten. Because one day, your bank balance will reset to zero, but your influence will echo in those you've helped rise. Chapter 45, The Invisible Battle. The real war of wealth is not fought in the markets. It's fought in the mind. Every day you battle thoughts of doubt, fear, comparison, and complacency. That's the invisible battlefield that decides your destiny. Your mind is either your most loyal soldier or your most dangerous saboteur. Millionaires win that war daily, not by ignoring fear, but by mastering it. They've trained themselves to separate emotion from execution, to feel fear but move anyway, to hear doubt but not obey it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's forward motion despite it. The more they face that inner resistance, the stronger their mental armor becomes. And over time, they stop reacting emotionally, they start responding intelligently. That's the true mark of wealth. Mental mastery. Chapter 46, The Currency of Confidence. Confidence is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the quiet knowing that you are becoming who you're supposed to be. Confidence is the compound interest of self-trust. Millionaires didn't start confident. They built it through small, consistent wins. They kept promises to themselves when no one was watching. They executed plans long before belief caught up. Every time they followed through, their self-respect increased. And when self-respect rises, income follows. Because the world mirrors how you treat yourself. Confidence is not taught, it's trained. And it grows through evidence, not affirmations. You can read all the quotes you want. But until your actions prove you trust yourself, you'll never embody it. So start keeping small promises. Do what you said you would, even when it's inconvenient. That's how you rebuild belief. Chapter 47, The Closing Promise. Before this audiobook ends, make a quiet promise to yourself. Promise to never again play small. Promise to outgrow the fear that once defined you. Promise to replace wishful thinking with decisive action. Your future will be built in silence long before it's celebrated in public. So rise early. Move with intention. Speak with clarity. Act with courage. Don't chase money. Become the kind of person money chases. Don't chase success. Attract it by mastering yourself first. The millionaire mind isn't a gift. It's a choice. And you can make it right now. Your new identity. You're not broke. You're not behind. You're in training, and training doesn't stop until mastery begins. Every day you think differently, you become wealthier, not just in money, but in mindset, peace, and purpose. So don't count the hours you've lost. Count the hours you have left, and spend them like the richest person alive, with intention, focus, and faith. Because wealth isn't out there waiting. It's already here, inside you, waiting to be unlocked. Dear viewer, please write in the comments what interested you most in the video. This will help us improve our videos. This has been The Mind of a Millionaire. If this audiobook spoke to your soul, share it. Because when one person thinks differently, an entire generation changes. Now, it's your turn. Train your mind, act with purpose, and build the life that proves what's possible when belief meets discipline. Thank you for watching. Wish you all the best.